Hey y'all, welcome back. Thanks for joining me again for another layout process video. This one's for My Scraps and More, and this was actually based on this sketch that I created for our sketchathon. It finished at the end of April, but I had not shown the video yet that I made when I made this layout. So you saw the sketch there just a second ago, and the focus of it is a really big title. So that's how I started this page. Is I found this cut file in the Silhouette cut shop, and it says Summer Fun, and my cutting mat is kind of new, so my paper's kind of curled up, but I fixed that. So it says Summer Fun, and I'm going to use some of the new Crate Paper Poolside collection for this, and so I pulled out several papers that I really liked from the 6x6 paper pad, and I'm just going to cut different strips because I want to back that cut file, or the opening for where the cut file was, the negative space, with different patterns and colors. So I just spent some time picking out the papers that I liked and making some little strips there. So this is a fun way to make a different and unique design using not that much paper, because you can see there I just made some strips. So if you have a lot of scraps hanging around, this is a really good way to do it. So since the cutout from that cut file is so big, and my paper was kind of curled up from the sticky of my cutting mat there, I decided to just get another piece of cardstock to create my strips on. And so all I'm doing here is adhering the strips down, and I didn't want it to be nice and neat and perfect, so I kind of just did them at an angle. Some of them overlap, some of them are straight, some of them are kind of crooked, and I just kind of keep sticking the cut file over it so I can see if it's going to fit. And this is probably the biggest cut file that I think I've ever backed with pattern paper. Usually it's, pie charts or hearts or something that's a lot smaller. So this is kind of big, and it looks a lot better once I get it finished. Looks like a crazy mess right now, but once I get them all adhered and attached to the other piece of cardstock, I think it looked pretty cool. So yeah, the base of this sketch was to use a big title, and so I really like the way that the Summer Fun is stacked on top of each other, and it leaves that little area to the left of the F and Fun for my picture to just fit right in there. And so I think that is going to work out really nicely. And if you have not checked out the Crate Paper Poolside collection, it's available in the My Scraps and More store. There's always discounts going on. There's always 20% off. There may be more during certain times when Audrey has a sale going on, so always check the store. But this collection's really, really pretty and very summery. It's bright yet subtle. So many fun things are in this collection there. So I'm just going to glue down all the little parts, the little delicate parts that you don't want to lose, so you can actually make out what the letters are. And there were some loose pieces that came out that I need to glue down as well. Part of the U and part of the N. So that's what I'm doing there, just gluing everything down. And I do wind up going back through the cut file there and outlining it with a black pen so it stands out a little more. But I really like how that turned out. And so now I'm just taking my picture, which is a picture of my husband and Reese in the pool from a couple years ago. And she's holding some leaves in her hand. She's a leaf lover. She loves leaves and sticks and twigs and things. And so she had found one and she didn't want to let it go. So it went in the pool with her. And she's just happy as a little lark with it in her hands. So cute picture time. So I backed my picture with some vellum and a couple of pieces, or maybe just one piece of pattern paper there. And I want to use these cute chipboard frames that come with this collection. And I play around with them for a bit because I wasn't sure. I decided to use that one because it's got the pop of yellow. And that yellow looks kind of greenish, but it's yellow. And I like how that looks. So I'm going to break out my pop dots there and get that stuck down. And it's never straight the first time I stick it down. I always have to pull it back up and redo it seems like. And I like the way that frame looks there. I did add some I was going to say silver. It's not silver, it's gold. Gold stitching onto that frame. So now I'm going to add some fun messiness to this white cardstock. So I add some clear gesso there and just use my finger to smudge it. And now I'm going to break out my watercolors. And I start out just using the brush. I want just a little bit to peek out from behind the corner of the picture there. And I do wind up getting my plastic packaging out and doing a little bit of that down here at the below where the picture is going to go. And this is kind of neat because once you get your, if you do a cut file like this, it kind of dictates what the rest of your page is going to look like, because you can't move that. If that's your title, it's there. So everything has to revolve around it. And it kind of helped me, figure out where I was going to put the rest of the things on my page. It also helped me figure out where I was going to put my mixed media, because I did not want to cover up the title. So I didn't have to do anything in that area. I just did all my wet work, or my paint, whatever you want to call it, in other areas. Now this is a stencil from My Favorite Things, and it's kind of like a herringbone or chevrons. And I'm just taking Sponge Sugar Distress ink. It's a really pretty light pink, and my distress tool, my little foam applicator there. And I'm just giving a little bit of pink. It's not too much. This is such a fun thing. I love that stencil. I wanted to just keep going and cover the whole thing, but I just wanted subtle hints of pink. And I really like the difference in the splattery blobs from the paint mixed with the chevron look from the distress ink. I like the mixture of that. It's a little bit different. That acetate sheet, or transparency sheet, whatever you want to call it, it's from the Poolside collection, and it's all shiny gold stuff. Can't really tell from the screen, but it's all shiny gold, and I knew I wanted to use a little bit of it. I cut that arrow out with the intention of using it for a layering piece, but it winds up not making it on here. I could not make it work for whatever reason, but I do use that shiny gold too, and I just decided to stick it right there on top of that frame. And I finally decide, yep, that's gonna work. So I add some tape to that. And now that I'm watching myself play with that arrow, I wish I would have used it. But at the time, it just didn't go right. I don't know what my hair is doing. It looks like it's in between my glasses there, but it wasn't. Who knows? I think my ponytail was hanging over my shoulder, but that's not even the point of what you're wanting to watch this for. Pop dots. I decided to use the word adventure, I think. It's been like over a week since I made this. Yeah, I want to use adventure, so it's a summer fun adventure, and I add some pop dots to it so it stands up a little bit. But I want to add some thread first. And this is a good way to adhere your thread. If you don't want to use, wet glue to glue it down, put it underneath a sticker or your pop dots or something like this. And once you stick it down, you don't have to worry about using any other type of adhesive. And I'm using thread that matches the teal color of the water, because I didn't use much of any teal ink or anything in the background. I just added some splatters there with the pink and the yellow. So I just wanted hints, a couple more hints of the teal. So I'm trying to make a cluster down here at the bottom, and I really wanted to use that shiny gold frame, but it just didn't work right. Now I do use that sticker that says, what does it say? Some of the best memories are made in flip-flops, but clearly there are no flip-flops going on in this picture. So I just take the word pool and stick it over the word flip-flops. So I just kind of altered it to fit. Believe me, I live in flip-flops. Living in Florida, you pretty much wear flip-flops all year round, but there are no flip-flops in this picture, so... And it kind of bugged me that it didn't say the pool, it just says pool. But in the grand scheme of things, I don't even think it's that big of a deal. So it just says, some of the best memories are made in pool. And I guess I could have written the pool in there, but I didn't. So it didn't bother me that much. I did make a little punch out of some of the black and white striped paper to add a little bit more of black down there at the bottom, because I like to make sure that all the colors up at the top are always echoed down in my other cluster there. So I'm just kind of mixing and matching and going through some of the embellishments and fixing myself a little cluster there. And I did do some stitching, some zigzag stitching down there at the bottom. There's so many pieces that I picked out originally to use on this page that just, once I get going and my design sort of takes on a life of its own, the original things that I picked out, they just don't make it on the layout. And that happens to me a lot. I do use that sun though. I think it's really cute, but I only use half of it, so I save the other half. And I wanted a little bit of light pink because there is some light pink going on. So it's light pink thread down there at the bottom. It's real subtle. It's not something that's going to stand out, but it does add a little bit more pink, and it gives it some more texture down there. And those pieces there I thought were adhesive, but they're not. But they do have a little piece of plastic that peels off, I guess, that protects the material that it is. It's kind of like an acetate piece, and it's transparent so you can see through it. So I use pop dots to give that some dimension, and I do wind up using this tag. I cut it off. I like the way that looks hanging out the side there. I just glue that down because once I got it underneath that thread, I didn't want to bring it back out. So I'm just going through and adding in a couple more things. I did add a little bit more gold down there at the bottom, and a little infinity sign or a plus sign over there on the left. And my favorite, some flare buttons. And I did notice that I finally hit 500 subscribers, which just blows me away. I'm flabbergasted and baffled and just, I can't believe that many people want to watch me create videos. So I'm over the moon excited about that, and I am planning a giveaway. Just have not had a chance to put it together. I've had project after project to do, so hopefully within the next week or so I'm going to get that together so we can have some fun and give some stuff away. But in the meantime, I added some stitching while you weren't looking, when the camera was off, and I also added some rhinestones to give it some blingy tones there, and I added in my journaling, and that's pretty much going to wrap it up. I think the final shots are coming up. Oop, nope, not yet. Sorry, psyched you out there. Gotta add my splatters, and I gotta add the date. Just when you think it's done, it's not. Now I really think it's almost done. Added some teal and some black splatters, and there's the final project. I think it's fun and bright. I really love the colors of this collection. It was perfect for summer, for pool, the beach, all of the above. So I hope you like watching it. So stay tuned. Hopefully in the next couple weeks we'll get my giveaway going, and I will look forward to seeing you guys next time. Thank you so much for watching and for all your comments. Have a great day.